Hello friends, good to see you again. Today on Yoga with Paige, we have a sequence designed for after work. We target the neck, the shoulders, and the hips, as well as mobilizing through the spine. Most of the general big target areas that we find ourselves tensing up while we're at work, slouching over, we're going to reverse that posture and just focus on opening up. So whenever you're ready, all you need is your mat, and we can get started. We start today on our knees, sitting up nice and tall, and then tucking the chin into the chest, keeping integrity in the spine as we begin to roll the neck to the right, making slow, deep neck rolls. One more. Before switching sides. You might hear pops or crinks, little noises. They're not to be scary, they're to let you know that you are doing a great job. You're working it out, releasing. So lifting the head back up, taking the hands behind the neck, interlace the fingers. Taking the elbows to the right side, gazing at the left. And then back through center to the left. Just taking gentle little motion side to side. Not forcing anything, just nice, careful movements. Evening out both sides. And then releasing the hands. Taking the left hand to the mat, fingertips. We're going to come onto the bum kind of with our legs bent like this. And reach that left hand overhead. Replace the right fingers on the mat. Mermaid Stretch. Tap into our merman and mermaid self. Merman, merwoman selves. Exhale, release. Come back up onto the knees to switch. Big, deep breaths. And then exhale, coming into easy seat, Sukhasana. Rooting down through the sit bones. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, find a twist. Right arm comes behind. Inhale, up. Exhale, twist to the left. Moving with the breath. Coming out of the mind, out of the day's work. One more time, each side. Or balancing out wherever you are. Coming back to neutral spine, interlacing the fingers in front of the chest, pressing palms forward, rounding through the back, tucking the chin in. Really sending those hands forward, trying to create as much space between the scapula as we can. Deep breaths. And then gently releasing, interlacing the hands behind the back and lifting the chest. Sending the hands down through the mat energetically. Rolling the shoulders back. Feeling this literal reverse of the slouching, slumpy posture that we do a lot when we're typing, sitting for long periods at a time. Exhale, release the hands, drawing the right arm across the chest, the left scoops underneath, getting the deltoids. The shoulders get very tight when we sit all day, especially if we do office work. And reaching that left arm behind the back, bending both elbows, trying to reach fingertips, opening up through the front of the shoulder, this left shoulder, elongating through the spine, just breathing, just being. Exhale, release, crossing the left arm over the chest. And then letting go, reaching that left arm overhead. Enjoying this time on the mat, whatever it brings up for you. Always coming back to the breath. Sometimes it's hard to get out of that work zone. It just takes practice. Some days are easier than others as well. But I find a lot of times when my mind wanders during yoga, that's when I need the practice the most. Releasing the hands, coming onto all fours, tabletop pose. Taking a little wrist stretch here. So finding the space between the fingers as much as we can. And then just slowly shifting our weight forward, kind of rolling around on the wrists. Just finding what feels good. We don't have to go too far. Maybe we scoot the hands back a little bit. Maybe we just move forward, backwards, side to side. Bringing our awareness to the hands, the wrists. And then coming to sit back on the heels, taking the hands behind us for a little wrist stretch. The backs of the hands meet the mat. And we just gently do the same thing. Lifting the hips, moving around. Maybe just holding here. One more breath. And then we sit back up, coming back to tabletop, taking a cat-cow, a few rounds, not just one. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, round through the back, pressing away from the mat. Our goal is to create space today. Anywhere and everywhere. One more round. Finding joy in these sensations. Meeting back in tabletop to send the hips back, child's pose. We can keep the arms outstretched, or we can gently rest the forehead down, taking the arms by the sides. Just finding a release, letting the arms hang out, feeling this stretch in the lower back, radiating along the spine. Breathing nice and deep. Releasing tension whenever we notice ourselves holding on to it. Inhale, lift the chest, take the hands out in front if they were behind, and come into downward facing dog, lifting the hips, pedaling out the feet. Ooh, taking our time. We might be achy, maybe we're a little sore or stiff. Using your breath. Beautiful. And And grounding through the right foot, we're going to raise the left high, three-legged dog, holding here. Nice straight limbs. Then bending the knee, opening the hips, stacking them on top of each other, reaching that flexed foot to the other side of the room. Active in the glutes. Exhale, back to three-legged dog. Bringing the knee in through the chest and releasing it into low lunge. Untucking that back foot. Inhale, raise the arms, interlace the fingers, pointer finger out. Taking a slight little back bend just to help send the hips down. Opening through the hip flexor. Not judging how tight or open we are. Exhale, release. Hands come to heart center. And we take a revolve. Right elbow comes to left knee. Pressing open, taking our gaze behind. Feeling this twist in the spine. This wringing out worry. Wringing out negativity. Stress. Exhale, back to center. Sending the hips back, flexing the left foot, half splits. Reaching up through the crown of the head, finding a nice long spine. And maybe folding a little bit forward. Breathing nice and deep, keeping the hips square. Inhale, back to low lunge. And exhale, half splits. Coming back into low lunge, but pivoting on this back foot, coming into Skandasana. Flexing the right foot up, sinking the hips down. Lifting the chest, using the fingertips to help you stabilize if you need. We can take an arm up, we can take a little bind. Whatever feels good to you. After your long day, you deserve it. You deserve to feel good. And exhale, pivoting on that back foot, coming back into low lunge, stepping back into downward facing dog. Grounding through the left foot, raising the right up high. Three-legged dog. Bending the knee, sending the foot to the other side of the room. Stacking the hips. Exhale, three-legged dog. Bring the knee in through the chest and release into low lunge. Inhale, hands come up high. Finding our slight little back bend. Sending the pelvis down. Rolling the shoulders back. Exhale, hands to heart center, we revolve. Twisting. Moving that energy around. Deep breaths. One more here. And then exhale, frame the foot, sending the hips back, half splits. Inhale, finding length. Exhale, maybe folding forward. We might be super tight and not as accessible if we've been sitting all day. So just do what you can do. Do what feels nice. It's all about releasing. It's not about how we look. Inhale, back to low lunge. And exhale, half splits. Coming onto that right foot, Skandasana, the other leg, left foot lifts up. And we find our variation of this pose that works for us today. Still sending that right knee open. The hips are our main focus in this posture, physically speaking. Exhale, release, pivot back to the front of the mat, stepping the foot back, high plank, taking a vinyasa, keeping the elbows in by the sides. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale over the toes, downward facing dog. Grounding through that right leg, raising the left, bending the knee, bringing it in through the chest, and stepping forward, coming into warrior one, pivoting the back foot, raising up nice and strong, checking our heel alignment here, squaring the hips to the front of the room. Exhale, open to warrior two, nice and strong. Inhale, reach forward, flip the palm, and reverse, reach back. Cartwheeling the arms around, interlacing the fingers, humble warrior. Our left shoulder comes to the inside of the knee, drawing the hands over the head. Exhale, gently release the hands, let them find the mat. Turn to face the long edge of the mat, widening our stance a little bit. Then bending that left knee and switching over to the right. Opening more through the groins. Moving at your own pace, maybe using the fingertips to help you, or maybe taking the hands up and just relying on those strong, powerful legs. They could use this after the day. One more. Each side. And we end facing the back of the mat. So with your right knee bent, we turn to face the back of the mat and come back into our plank pose, taking a vinyasa, meeting in downward facing dog. Grounding through the left leg, raising the right. Bring it in through the chest, warrior one. Grounding through the back edge of that left foot. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reach forward and back, peaceful warrior. Exhale, humble warrior. Hands come over the chest, over the head. Feeling the blood rush to the head here for a moment. Exhale, release the hands, turning back to face the long edge of the mat. Inhale, raise the arms up, shoulder height. And exhale, slowly dive forward, flat back. Get as close as we can, and then release the hands. Trying to bring the head to the mat or between the legs, if possible. But again, it's not about where we are or where we're going. It's about where we are right now. What our body feels like right now. Honoring what our practice is here, today. Holding this posture for a few more breaths. Breathing nice and deep. Trying to let the thoughts go, pass you by. Inhale, gently raise the chest, coming to face the front of the mat, bending that left leg and making our way down into half pigeon. Reaching the pelvis down into the mat. Very active in the legs here, active in the glutes, Inhale, raising the chest. Exhale, coming down onto the forearms. Sending our awareness to the outer hips, the glutes. Gently lifting back up, reaching for that back ankle, pulling it in towards the hips, quadricep stretch. Exhale, release, coming onto the bum and reaching for both big toes, extending both legs once we find our balance point. Taking it slow, pulling the chest through the legs, keeping a nice long spine, maybe opening the legs a little bit more, finding our focus point to help us balance, and gently bending the knees, coming into pigeon on the other side, so facing the back of the mat, extending the left leg behind. Noticing how much more open we feel now versus right after we got off work. Doesn't have to be intense or super, super long to let your body feel benefits of stretching and of daily movement. Coming down onto the forearms. Even just 5 or 10 minutes of intentional movement or stretch is better than none at all. And on your next inhale, gently raising the chest, reaching back for that left ankle, pulling it into the hips. Taking a check-in with your feet. How are they looking? Exhale, release. Coming back onto the sit bones, soles of the feet together, bound angle pose. Reaching for our big toes. Sitting up tall, taking a few moments here to just open through the hips. Send the knees down into the mat. Taking the shoulders down away from the ears. And then maybe pulling yourself closer to your feet. Using your hands to help you pull your way there. One more breath here. Maybe go a little bit deeper. And then bring the chest up, knees together, swing around and come onto the back, extending the legs up in the air, feet flexed. We're going to end with some legs up the wall, so if you'd like to move near a wall, you can do so now. We'll be here for about a minute. Just letting the blood flow from the extremities back up to the heart, to the head. If we'd like to take plow pose or shoulder stand or any other movements like that, we can do that. Always feel free to add in your own. Make your practice your own. Maybe we bend and flex the feet, working through the ankles. We can keep the knees bent, so they don't need to be erectly straight, if that's more accessible for you. 2 more breaths. Or you can stay here as long as you like. This feels really good, which it does for me. But if you are ready to end your practice, we can gently bend the knees, give yourself a little hug, reach the chest up, hug the legs, give yourself some love, especially for making it on the mat today after a long day of work. And we can find a seated position. Thank you for joining me today for working out some tension after your workday. Let me know how this went for you down below, and I look forward to seeing you on the mat again soon. Namaste, friends.